and then you would. I don't see it on my end, but as long as you see it.
This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada. And folks, I have a great show lined up for you today. I have a wonderful guest on the show with me today. The director, he's also an actor, Peter Anthony himself of Roseblood. How do you do, Peter?
Good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I need to get X'd out of some of these screens here that are. Yeah. Here we go. Now it's we don't have to share screen anymore. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Hopefully that turned out well. You know, did you see it on your end?
I did not.
Ah.
It's all right though. I mean, as long as it comes out on your end, that's all that really matters.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hope so. You know, but nonetheless, yes. We just showcased the Doubtfire Face Challenge at Lar Park, Lincoln of Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood had done. And of course, you were one of her nominees along with Lisa Wilcox and Becca Rose. So, you know, I thought I would let you see that. But here we are. It is June 23rd, 2022. I'll throw my phone into flight mode here so we are not disturbed. And yes, how you do today, Peter?
I'm doing good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me on the show and making me part of the challenge. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, well, Laura made you part of the challenge. You know, she's awesome, and I know when my father passed away, she was one of a very small handful of people from 13 Fanboy that actually reached out to me. You know, because things are a little friction there, but yeah, Laura was wonderful, and she said some very nice comments with regards to my loss and my family's loss, and she had lost her folks at a young age. So, but Laura turned out very well. Of course, the Actors Edition Studios she heads that, and I made a donation to it after that challenge. So yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, Lars a tough cookie. She's pretty on the outside, but she's pretty tough.
She's pretty tough. Yep, yeah. She is pretty tough. Yeah. You know what? Before I get talking about Roseblood and your other projects, I would like to get a little bit of your background and how you got into the business.
So you're familiar with Friday the 13th Vengeance?
Yep.
Yeah. So even before that, the movie Voorhees, I was help marketing. I knew Kane Hodder, and I was helping Cody Falk out long story short, we got a picture with Kane and the Jason for Voorhees. Kind of went from there. Then Jason Brooks saw me do marketing there, asked me to help marketing for Vengeance. And then the prisoner scene came up. We tried to get a bunch of Jasons to do it. We tried to get Steve Dash to do it, and Kane, and so on and so forth. And then Steve couldn't do it because his health, so we gave him the Riolotti role. Long story short, hey, you want to act in it? I'm like, yeah, I'll be the prisoner. And they're like, you'll make you the main prisoner. I'm like, okay, cool. So it went from like marketing, which I still do, like the Indiegogo, you see me, and all that stuff like that, online internet interviews, stuff like that. And then it went to that acting, and then, Fall Camp Blood and Vengeance 2 and Rosebud. So it just kind of snowballed from there in the last 4 years. So that's how it all came about.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Who is your favorite Jason?
7, Kane Hodder. Yeah, by far. Now my favorite movie is 4, but
we got a combination then.
Yeah. What do you got?
I got this.
Yeah, I got them sitting over there. I got some of them being made into Rosebud ones. I love that.
Yeah, I've actually got part 3 one as well, but it's packed away here somewhere. Look at that.
So good.
Yeah.
So the version I have being made of ours, all of them have blood on it. The mask has a crack. Julian's face is in there, and the little horn is in there.
Oh, this one's got a bunch of weapons and his alternate head, and
it's awesome, isn't it?
Half a mask and all kinds of nice little cutlery there.
That's great.
Yeah, I'd like to have a Tina Shepherd one though. I'd like to have a Lar figure.
Yeah, I think she has one of hers that some fan made for her. I remember in an interview I've seen it once.
Yep. My favorite Jason I've had on here twice.
Mr. Graham. Ted White.
Ted White.
You've had him on here twice?
I've had him on here twice.
Man, great job. I just got a mask signed by him. The shower hallucination scene in 4. I got it signed up there. Yep.
Yep. And I got a picture signed by him too.
Dude, I can't. Well,
look at that.
That's signed by him and graded.
Yep.
The same one, man.
Yep. Yeah. I got another one, but it's packed away here somewhere of him cutting Spackler from Police Academy's throat from with a hacksaw.
Yeah.
I got that one too. Ted White had an incredible story. And of course, I'm.
There you go, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
I got that knife signed by Ted White, and I have that mask made also, because that mask, the cut's on the wrong side. There's no rivets or anything, and the way the blood pours out of the holes, I have that mask signed by him too. I love that. I love 4. I just watched 4 the other day.
Yeah, my favorite 2 are part 6 and 4.
Same with me. I got it 4, then 6. But if you probably break it down, most people have 6 ahead of 4, probably 60-40 split from what I see online at least. But to me, 4 is the last scary one, and it's the perfect story because 1 through 4 like completes it.
I have a few issues with like part 4 and 6. I have very little of any complaints about, but like the original one, remember when Ronnie Yu made Freddy versus Jason, and I just shook my head. Like I couldn't believe he watched the original of both films.
Right. Jason's
now A Nightmare on Elm Street I get.
Right.
What's he going to get out of the original Friday the 13th to make Freddy versus Jason?
Think about this. You're a major director, right? So he's got money, he's got time, right? Someone says, hey, we're going to put you in this major franchise. Why wouldn't you just binge them like 1 day, 2 days? That really
because he didn't care.
He doesn't give a shit. Yeah, excuse my French. He doesn't. I mean,
yep.
Why would you?
You can swear on here. Yep.
Yeah.
He just didn't give a shit.
No.
I
think he even said when he made the Chucky one, he only saw Chucky 1 or something too. I don't think he saw all the Chuckies because he made Bride of Chucky, I would think, right? Yeah, he didn't even watch them.
Like, it's so lazy. Like, if they're going to go back and do something with this franchise, if they don't hire Vincent DeSante to do that, there's a problem because Vincent knows how to fill in the plot holes
Right.
because he's told me all about it. And if they don't bring him in, because I get tired of this, bringing in some hack filmmaker who doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, it's just like a favor of the studio kind of people. And
Yep.
Tom McLaughlin wrote one that he wants to get done. That'd be great too.
I'm hoping he does it too.
Yeah.
But the original one, another problem like I had with the original one, of course, they killed a real snake in the movie,
Yeah.
which
But
I
that was
have.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand it. You didn't need to show that.
Right. Or you could have got a fake one.
Well, or just show him swing the machete down, and
Right.
reactions would have done it.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of respect for people that made that film. Not the actors. The actors I had no issue with, but the people behind the camera on that, they should have known better.
Right.
With Friday the 13th Part 2, I like the film, but it's more or less Part 1 only with Jason.
As far as story, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like
But
the
I'll
last
say
15 minutes though. I mean, it gets pretty intense when she's running from him and the mother's head. All that. I think the ending really makes it better.
Well, I'll say this: Amy Steele was a massive plus in that movie.
One of the best.
And Kirsten Baker became the first woman I ever seen naked because this was the first one of the series I saw.
Sandra, right?
No, she was Terry.
Oh my
going
God.
into the lake.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, my mom come in, turned the television off on that.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 3. Here's my one big issue with Part 3. And this is a problem with whoever wrote it. They wrote Debbie, the Tracy Savage role, as pregnant.
Just because the one guy, or does she say it? Or she says it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Why not have a pregnant final girl? And quite frankly, Chris Higgins, I don't find very likable.
No.
And poor Rick, when he could have spent the weekend with Mary Jo Conrad.
Yeah. And then the weird like rape story with Jason out of 3 was weird too.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird.
But
like, why would you ever go back if some monster was in the woods where you are now and tried to rape you? Like, wow, I would never go there, you know?
Well, Tracy Savage is one of my big crushes from the film, from the franchise. I've had her on here 3 times, and I've flattered her with things I've said to her. But and far as 13 fanboy goes, she's the reason I put 3K into the movie.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But her demeanor, I would have liked to have seen what kind of final girl she would have been.
Feisty, because she was kind of smart with the mouth, so.
Yep. Yeah. So when I watch Part 3, I like Part 3, but I see a missed opportunity there. The final chapter, Ted White's my favorite Jason. I think it's the most frightening.
Yeah, by far.
Of the franchise. I like the characters a little more. I mean, I love the dynamic between Crispin Glover and Lawrence Monoson. Was great stuff, And
Tommy as a boy is basically Tom Savini.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Kimberly Beck as Trish Jarvis does not get enough credit.
All right, yeah.
As a final girl.
Yeah, I agree. Good point. And she's beautiful.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I was to pick my favorite scene in the entire franchise, it's when she's cornered upstairs. She looks behind her and all there is a window. And she turns back and there's Jason. He lunges forward. She's got no choice. She's got to chance it. It's either that because it's her one chance, because she's not only protecting herself, but her brother.
Right.
And she fires herself out through that window in slow motion.
Yeah.
I love that whole sequence.
Yeah, that was great.
And so many people, they credit Corey Feldman. So many people overlook Trish Jarvis. And I would say, I'm just going to go on a limb here. I'd say she's equally as good as Amy Steele.
That's bold. I like
Yep.
it though. It's bold, but I like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but I mean, Amy Steele had assistants as well.
Yeah, I think when you go back and look at the way it was shot, Amy was always shot like with one person or by herself, and she's always stoic. When in
Yep.
4, Trisha's always running or away from the camera. She's never really like stoic with the camera. So I think that's part of it. It's like some people
Yep.
don't know she's supposed to be great,
Yep. Yep. But and by the way, here's a little theory for you. I think Paul Holt died, and I think the eyeball that Abel had was Paul's.
Oh, okay.
Because he says, there were other parts of the body.
Yeah. Yeah. He's definitely dead. I mean, even I think the director admitted that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
the dog's dead too. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but the dog's dead. That was a dream sequence at the end. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of because I mean, I don't know. Was it a dream sequence?
The
Because
director, I've seen him where they said it's a dream sequence because remember, Paul's not there. So, because she's like, where's Paul? Where's Paul? So everything was a dream. Because remember, you saw the dog's collar when it was all chewed up and eaten up or whatever. So, I mean, I know I'm the same way. I don't want it to be dead, but they said it was a dream sequence. So, I guess, I don't know. Who knows? The whole Friday 13th, everything's so sketchy. You never know what's
yeah,
what.
but how would Paul have died though if Jason like
The shack, I guess. You just don't see it. And then she imagined the rest. I have an interview somewhere with that. I'll try to find it for you.
Okay.
I mean, man, I wouldn't bet my life on it either, but I remember seeing it one time.
But I mean, I love the final chapter. And part 5, I've interviewed a lot of people from part 5. I have a lot of issues with the 5th film.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of issues. I'll say one thing I don't have an issue with. One of my other big crushes of the franchise, Melanie Kinnaman.
Yes.
I've had her on here a couple times. Man, she's gorgeous.
As a teenage boy, watching her in the rain at the end of the movie was quite enlightening.
Yeah. I like Melanie Kinnaman, but here's the thing. Number 1, the movie, there's so many scenes in that movie, like the greaser scene or the demon scene, or if those scenes weren't there, you wouldn't notice.
Right. Filler.
I think there's a lot of characters that were thrown into that just to be killed.
Right.
Here's what I do think. Could you imagine taking Ethel, Junior, Demon, the greasers, the Bob DeSimone paramedic who was snorting up in the car, and Violet, and can you imagine those characters all in a screwball comedy?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They would have worked in something like that. Here, I just found myself, they were entertaining,
right,
but they weren't particularly well drawn out characters.
And they don't push the Tommy story forward. They're just added in. I agree.
I don't think John Shepherd was anywhere near as good as Tom Matthews,
or Corey Feldman.
Yeah. And here's my second issue with the film. Danny Steinman was a terrible director. More interested in shooting pornography.
Yeah, that was his background.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I even talked to Melanie Kinnaman about this, about like you got Jason walking after her or Roy walking after her in the rain. And he comes across her, raises a machete, her screaming face, raises a machete, her screaming face. I'm like, what the fuck, would you? Yeah. Here's how you do that scene right. He has her pinned down, raises shows her screaming face, raises a machete, then Reggie comes out through the barn.
There you go.
The tractor. That's how you do that. Yeah. Not back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, she can move anytime.
Right.
Another dumb scene. I spoke to Melanie about this too, and she gets it. Because I mean, the pink sweater thing was not the only. But
one positive on 5. I love the music in 5.
Oh yeah,
I love the music,
especially Cito Echo.
Yeah.
Yep. But
And then the death scene with that girl was supposed to be through her vagina, remember? And they had to
yeah,
cut that out. That was the director's idea too.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
There's another scene too. Reggie wakes up, comes up the stairs, and calls Tommy's name. He's in the room. Lightning strikes and he sees all the bodies. Okay, I'll go with that. He backs up, and then you get the jump scare where he runs into Pam. Pam goes in the room. The lightning flashes and I'm like, great that lightning just happened to strike, because what was she going to do? Wander into the dark?
Right. It's just the
Like stuff like that just annoyed the hell out of me with part 5. And part 5's not my least favorite, not at all. Not at all.
For me, if you remove Roy and you made that Jason, it's in the middle of the pack, maybe towards the top middle of the pack. But for me, when I was watching, because I loved 1 through 4, so to me, it was such a betrayal to me to not be. I mean, I was pissed. I have 80 masks. The last mask I ever got signed was the 5 cover and the blue, and then the cover of the poster one, which is that weird hockey style, and had both of them sign it. That's the last one I've had signed because I debated it because I was so mad as a child that they lied to me that it was Jason. People say, well, Halloween 3 is like that. And I'm like, no, it's not, because they never told you Michael was in it. And Halloween 3 is its own entity. So either you like it or you don't like it, but they didn't lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So as a kid, because I loved 1 through 4, like we were saying so much, it's like, how dare you fool me like that? I didn't like that part, obviously.
Well, you know what? Here's an issue is that my big issue with Roy, they're trying to make you think it's Tommy. And part of me almost thinks I should have went with Tommy, to be the killer, but
that's how they left it off at the end. They wanted it to go that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, again, how would I have done it differently? Well, I'm going to tell you a few things how I would do it. Number one, okay, you see Joey's body. Funny, Vic gets away with the whole thing. Of course, he gets arrested, but he's one guy who doesn't get killed,
Right.
That's weird. But nonetheless, the body gets uncovered. Everybody reacts. You get Roy reacting. Okay, that's fine. Leave out the back of his pant leg, that ominous shot, and leave out him covering it up and looking up.
That was so obvious. I mean, that was
like why not just put a neon sign up there and say guilty, guilty, guilty? Right. Leave that out. And then there's the whole thing where they're picking up the greasers and loading them into the ambulance, and you got the sheriff going, "What's going on here? You talk to me, sheriff?" I'm like, why don't you just own up to it?
Right.
Now, here's something they could have done. They could have had Roy be a red herring, and maybe Roy is maybe doing a little undercover work to find out what's going on. I might have gone with that. Mm-hmm. That way I'd say, okay, this is why he was so focused on. But when he's revealed at the end, I'm like, yeah, didn't do anything for me.
No, it didn't even look like him. There's a whole thing online where they say the guy in the spikes isn't even that same actor. And when I look at it, he does look kind of weird. Doesn't look like, man, what's his name? It's on the mask. I should know it. But yeah, it's just weird. I mean, I remember seeing that spikes and just being like, what
yeah, but thank goodness Melanie Kinnaman is in it.
Yeah, but he blew through a door in there and he gets hit by the tractor. So
yeah,
it almost seemed superhuman there too, so.
Yeah. But Melanie was super beautiful.
Super beautiful.
Yep.
We almost had her vengeance too. I talked to her about it.
Oh, I love Melanie. Like, yeah, love Melanie. She still looks stunning.
Yeah, she's coming up to a New Jersey Horror Con, I think, in September. I'm going to go visit her.
Oh, I envy you. I'd love to meet Melanie. I've had her on here a couple times,
Yeah. She posts pictures of her dancing. She's still like a little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad she does that, because I heard that she was a dancer, and it's like,
yeah,
I love seeing those videos where she dancing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, she still got it.
Yeah.
Now, part 6 is my favorite of the franchise. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're doing another Jason movie, I am good friends with Nancy McLaughlin.
Okay.
I'll show you something. I've had Nancy on here 4 times, and she's coming on my birthday in July.
Oh, that's good.
She called me the other night. Nancy and I stay in touch. She makes these.
Didn't know that. I'm pretty good friends with Tom, so that's amazing.
I've had Tom on here a couple of times, Tom McLaughlin,
Yeah.
but I know he and Nancy are not together anymore.
Right.
But I'll tell you this. I saw Jason Lives screened in Toronto when I went there for Frightmare in the Falls last year. And Nancy's death scene not only got a reaction, but people were quoting the American Express card thing.
Yeah, and the bubbling thing too, her bubbling under the
Yep.
water. Yeah, and then she almost died when CJ the spike came across. Yeah.
I got 2 stories there. Number 1, I posted about this screening on Facebook. The following night, because I'm good friends with Lisa Langlois from class of 1984.
Okay.
She invited me to my first con.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So she and I remained friends, and we were going to a Christmas party because when I was there, it was heading into November, or not November. No, it wasn't last year that Jason Lives screen. It was the year before. No, 2019. Sorry, I'm getting my dates mixed up. 2019, because I had it the end of November and Christmas stuff was going up. Lisa and I were going to go to a Christmas party. My cell phone rings, and it's Nancy McLaughlin. And I said, "Hey, I watched you last night." And she goes, "I know." But here's another story. Frightmare in the Falls last year, I met CJ Graham. Got him to sign my Jason Lives Blu-ray. And of course, I got him to hold up my 13 Fanboy t-shirt because he's in that. And
yeah, the fight scene at the end.
The
great fight scene at the end. Yeah.
I'm glad he got that, not Kane, because it would have been so easy to get to go with Kane on that.
I agree.
I'm glad they gave it to CJ.
They give Kane the crying role, which you think would be the opposite too, you know?
Yep. But when I went to meet CJ, and I haven't had CJ on here yet, I'm working on it. I called Nancy. I said, "Nancy, you want me to put you on speakerphone when I approach CJ?" She said, "Sure." So I get up to CJ Graham and I said, "Somebody wants to have a word with you about your roadside etiquette."
Roadside etiquette.
They chatted for about 5 minutes, so.
I was with him on set for Vengeance 2. Was it last month before? Also, him and Tom. So he just got his knee replaced like 3 weeks ago. CJ.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's why I haven't heard from him yet.
Yeah, it was bothering him for a while. Like we were outside, it was freezing, and he had some stuff to do, and you could just tell we were trying to let's go easy on him. He's got to get his knee replaced. So I think 3 weeks ago now. Yeah, so he's been out of commission for a little while.
Well, I messaged his wife because that's who I told to go through. So
it's Ruby. Yeah, she's
yep.
Great.
Yep. But I love Jason Lives. And it's funny, I always why did Paula die in it? She didn't break any of the rules.
Yeah, I guess some people die without breaking the rules, right?
You want me to tell you something? And I've interviewed Carrie Noonan, by the way, and I had fun talking to her about that. But nonetheless, I told her she'd make a horrible interior decorator. Judging from that scene. It's funny. People say all this stuff, like from Scream, Jamie Kennedy, don't break this rule, this rule. Have you seen X? Did you see the final girl in that broke every single fucking rule that there was to break?
I never really liked the rules. That's why with my film, I know we're not getting on it right now, but I didn't go by that. I didn't do the sex or the drugs or you know what I'm saying or any of that. I didn't. I was like,
Well, the
"Oh, tell
final
Jason."
girl from X did the drugs, she did the sex, she did the nudity, she
Yeah,
did everything.
everything. Yeah,
And I kind of dig her for it.
yeah.
If you haven't seen X, check it out. It's awesome. I've seen it 4 times in the theater. But then we get to part 7. I know you're a big fan of part 7. I have some major issues with part 7.
I'm a fan of Kane and the last 15 minutes and his portrayal and the stunts and the look and the fight with Lar. The rest of the movie at times can be boring. I agree when you go back and watch it.
Kane, I liked his get up in it. I love Lar Park Lincoln. How can you not?
Obviously, yeah.
You know, here's a big problem I have. And I mentioned my favorite scene in the franchise with Kimberly Beck going through the window in part 4.
Mhm.
Part 7 has my least favorite scene in the franchise.
I wonder what that is.
Yep. Okay. You'll notice in the original Friday the 13th, Alice is pretty much by herself. She's isolated. That's part of the effect why it is scary.
Mhm.
Could you imagine what it'd be like for her if she had telekinesis, Would have been handy for her.
Right.
I have a major problem with Kevin Blair, and I got nothing against Kevin Blair, but I had a problem with him the extent that he was in this movie. He was just written in as a possible love interest. That was it.
Yep.
He wasn't part of that group. Here's the problem I had. They went out of their way to make him survive. Like when he gets knocked out against the wall and he almost tramps his foot through him and she presses his mask against his head. But the scene that bothered me the most was at the end. Let's take a step back to Jason Lives for a second.
Yeah.
Remember when Ron Palillo dies at the beginning?
Of 6? Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Runs up behind him, hits him with the shovel. He turns around. What's he do?
Horseshack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Punches his fist through him with his heart beating on the other side. Right? Remember that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my issue. And this is why I hate this scene.
Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. But
okay. They blew up the house. They're on there hugging. They should have ended it with the house blowing up. And then they cut to Day and the smoke, and then his hand kind of bursts through the part of the roofing or something,
No. That was before. That's when she dropped the roof on him.
Mm-hmm.
Then he punches out. The blow up house, that's the end. The next scene after the blow up house is them on the dock.
Yeah, but I would have ended it with the house blowing up.
Would have ended it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, all right.
Problem is, you got them hugging on the dock. Jason grabs her, throws her aside.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Blair gets up. Again, nothing against Kevin Blair. He fires a bunch of rounds into Jason. What does Jason do? Bats the gun out of his hand and pushes him into that fucking canoe. Boy, Horseshack could have been so lucky.
Yeah.
It pissed me off.
You're right. It's so they could leave him alive for the end.
When does Jason push people?
Right.
I hated that. I hate that. To me, that's the scene I hate the most in the entire franchise is that scene. And it's bad enough you got so-called muddied up zombie dad coming up out of the lake.
Yeah. Did you ever see the behind the scenes version? It was so much better than the final version.
Yeah, I know. There was some meddling, and the characters were horrible with the exception. I like Tina.
Yeah.
I like Tina.
Dr. Cruz is a great asshole. You gotta admit it.
Yeah, but I got to admit, I liked Peter Mark Richmond and Jason Takes Manhattan better. And I was lucky enough to have Peter Mark on the show twice before he passed.
He just passed, right?
Yeah, I had him on here twice. And Jason Takes Manhattan has another whole, we don't even have to get into the problems that thing had.
Yeah.
But I did like Peter Mark. It also has got a final guy that really is in the road.
Right.
You know, final guys can work if it's, say, Tom Matthews or John D. LeMay and Jason Goes to Hell. It works that way.
He was the only major guy character in that in mine, besides the Duke. So it had to
Mm-hmm.
be him. You know what I'm saying? There was really no other characters.
But
Male.
thing is, you know, he was written well.
Right.
Kevin Blair and Scott Reeves' character in 7 and 8 were not.
I agree.
In Jason Goes to Hell, I like it better than a lot of people did, and I'm involved in Adam Marcus's documentary with it. But I found out something from Adam Marcus that makes it hard to watch this movie, and it'll probably make it hard for you too when you find out. Carrie Keegan, of course, was a pain in his ass all through shooting that movie, because it turns out she wasn't going to do a nude scene. So she caused a lot of problems for Adam. You know who Adam wanted for that role?
Who?
Laurie Holden
Oh wow.
from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know why he didn't get her?
Why?
Because Sean S. Cunningham thought she was too pretty.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, how does that make sense?
And tons
So,
of pretty girls in the movies.
yeah, I think Allison Smith was hot.
Yeah, Lar. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
go down the line. Melanie.
Yep.
You know,
Amy.
Even the other girls. I mean, what's her name in part 2? Going in the water. I mean, there's tons of hot girls.
Tracy Savage, Adrienne King has beautiful Girl Next Door appeal. But here's the thing. It's hard to watch Jason Goes to Hell knowing that Carrie Keegan basically, I've heard Adam Marcus's stories on that. It could have been Laurie Holt. Can you imagine?
Different acting level for sure.
Yeah. And Jason X, shit show. I like the android woman. There was too many survivors. I would have just had it come down to Jason and the android woman. I liked Lisa Ryder. I'll say that.
Jason X was like a cheap sci-fi channel movie. That's what it reminded me. It reminded me of Power Rangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Jason X is my pick for the worst film of the franchise.
Same here. I got 9 right. So close, but 10 takes it just because they got so corny with it, you know.
Yep.
At least 9 tried to be serious. I mean, I don't like the story that great, but they tried to be serious. They just, you know, some things about, obviously they spelled Voorhees wrong. I don't understand how that can even happen when the Cunningham's a producer, there's a million editors, a million people there. How does that make the final cut? That bothered me. Him shaving the guy, and this is nothing against homoerotic.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me, you know.
But Jason's not sexual. Jason's seen a million naked women, people having sex, he's not sexual, he just kills people. He doesn't keep them and tie them and shave them. It's so stupid, it doesn't make any sense to me. You know, that was weird too.
And then the reboot, I just had the sleeping bag girl on here. I look at the reboot a little differently.
First 20 minutes is great.
First 20 minutes is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
but I'll say one thing. Here's how I look at it. I look at it like a sequel, not a reboot.
Right.
Because you'll notice when he finds the hockey mask after the sack gets pulled off his head, it's almost like he recognizes it.
Kind of. Yeah.
And he puts it on. You could watch that after part 8 and it kind of just goes with the flow.
Did you ever see the other take, how he gets the mask the other way, the deleted scene?
What, eBay?
No, the kid's downstairs smoking weed, reading a paper, and the same kid. And Derek Mears comes in and rips his head off. And I don't know if it was on the ground or something. It's a different scene of how he gets the mask, and he puts the mask on that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, part 2 was the first one I saw at a very young teenage age, because when you're a young teenager, you're into guy things, you're not into girls. So Kirsten Baker became the first time I noticed women look different than guys under the clothes. What was the first one you saw growing up?
I don't remember. I was like 6 years old. I think the first one I remember seeing on TV was probably 3, and it was probably on HBO and then USA Up All Night or anything like that. But I kind of remember 3 because I used to bodybuild, and he had the big traps, and I was like, oh my, look at that! Like, it was scary as hell to me. So I remember. I mean, I really couldn't bet on it, but I'd say 3 because they played 3 a lot back in the day. So I'd say 3. The first one I went to the movie theater was 7. I'm 46, so 7 and
I'm
8.
gonna be 50 this year,
I
and
had to sneak into those.
I saw part 7 at the old Twin Cinemas here. It's no longer around. And my older brother and I saw it, and there was a guy dressed up as Jason ripping the tickets.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I saw part 7 in the theater. I saw Jason X, and actually Jason Goes to Hell was the only one that didn't come here for some strange reason. But I saw Jason X in the theater, and I just remember when Uber Jason appears, everybody in the theater laughed. I saw Freddy versus Jason in the theater, and I saw the reboot in the theater. I saw the original at a midnight screening, and I saw part 6 in Toronto at a screening. And I gotta say that part 6 screening of Jason Lives was the best experience I've had watching one at the movies.
Yeah, I watched part 1 in Camp Nobi Scobo.
Mm-hmm.
Inflatable. So I went to the original camp multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And take the tour, and they take the big, like a float, inflatable screen on the lake, and they make it huge. And I watched it there with Adrian King. So that was pretty cool.
Adrian King was my second guest on the show.
Wow.
And she was one of these ones I had a crush on growing up. But I watched these movies because I had so many pretty girls in it. I could care less about killing this person this way or that way. So many pretty girls. How pretty is Adrian King in person?
She doesn't even age. She's the same size. Like 40 years later. It was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even her pretty. This isn't even like cliche. There's like a glow, like an aura with her that just makes you want to be around her. She's like super lovable and like motherly all at the same time.
Well, she's been nominated by at least 4 people now to do the Doubtfire Face Challenge. And Adam Marcus is planning on getting his skeleton crew all to do it at some point when Hearts of Darkness is made. And he said if Adrian hasn't done it by the time he goes to do it, he's going to nominate her too.
What, have you talked to him about that? What's that? 3 years in the making? Is that coming out soon?
They're still making it. They got a few more interviews to do. COVID, of course, put a stall in it.
Yeah.
But Adam's been great with me, and I love his wife, Deborah Sullivan, who I call the Cackle Queen. If you haven't seen Secret Santa, see it.
Okay.
Because it's, number 1, hilarious. Number 2, great kill scenes. I've interviewed 7 people from that movie. I think it's Adam Marcus's best thing he's done.
Yeah, it came out a couple years ago, I remember.
Yeah, see Secret Santa.
Right.
You'll thank me for it. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to seeing Adrian King at Frightmare in the Falls. She's one of the people supposed to be there. So I got the script signed by her. She's doing something online with that. So
I had her sign the it's not the original from the movie, but the 1970 something Monopoly board that's in the movie.
mm-hmm.
That same one I had her sign that I have here. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Baltic Avenue.
She signed it in the middle, but yeah, she actually said good luck with Vengeance because that's when Vengeance was coming out. So she wrote it on there. Yeah, she said something about don't strip tease when you're playing, but something like that. I forgot what it was, and good luck with Vengeance or whatever. It's just so cool. When you go there and you take the tour, they make every cabin back to what it was. So there's a fake rubber snake dead. There's and then the pictures of the bunks where Kevin Bacon, all them were. You can go to the exact tree where Pamela looked at them on the dock. So cool. And then like where they had Monopoly out the money and where everything was on the board. It's so cool. You got to check it out one day if you can.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Adrian, I know she had a stalker right around the time she did part 2.
Yeah, so did Lar.
Yeah, Lar did. I get it. Adrian kind of took herself out of the spotlight because of that.
Right.
And I think what happened, the convention scene has really brought new life between her and the fans. And she's having a hard time, and I know she likes to deny it. I'm sorry, that's Alice's corpse in part 2. She likes to deny that.
It is.
It's Alice's corpse in part 2.
100%, because when it's sitting there, the spike is hanging out of the head with the dead body.
And you can see the outfit too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the bathrobe. I often wonder, like, I wouldn't mind knowing in between parts 1 and 2 if there's those other bodies in there.
Yeah, I wonder.
You know, because I know at the end of that, the policeman was in there, and Terry
Yeah,
was in there.
even in the video game, Alice was dead at the mother shack.
Yeah, they should have had the cop and Terry in there too, though.
That would have been cool. The cop still had the hammer like stuck in him.
Yeah, because
yeah.
you do see them in there.
He just passed away too.
Yeah, he did. Jack Mertz just passed away.
Yeah.
Yep. But who all of you, I know we haven't got to your movie yet, but we got to talk a little bit about conventions here, because you're like me, a fan. And I've just started doing the conventions in 2017. Who have you met that's just blown you away?
By the way, I started doing conventions in 2017.
There you go. Lisa Langlois invited me to assist her at her table at Horrorama, and it was my first time on a plane, first time even out of New Brunswick here.
Yeah, I can give you a good and a bad story. Would you like that?
Please.
Yeah, well, the best one I gotta say is Kane, because you know, you meet your stars. Who was it that said it? There's a famous guy, don't ever meet your heroes because they'll let you down. So I am in line. I just had my knee replaced and I'm kind of limping. I'm in line in Rock and Shock, which used to be in Massachusetts. And I drove by myself. I could, you know, probably shouldn't have been driving with the knee, but it's like a 2-hour drive. Got there, had the 18-inch Kane Part 7 figure. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it signed. And I'm waiting in line. And then now I don't get nervous over stuff. And then like I'm about 3 people from him and I see him and I'm like, holy shit. Because when I was young, me and my brother used to watch it. Just his name was so cool, right? Kane Hodder, you know? And I'm like, this is the guy. And I got close to him and he made eye contact with me. And I was lifting back then and he was like, who's this guy, The Rock? And then he pulls me over. I have him sign like 5 different things. And then he's like, why are you limping? And I was like, I have like blood clots from my knee replacement. I have to wear these socks and all this stupid shit. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, whatever. So he's hugging me. And then I go to pay him and he goes, you don't pay me nothing. I was like, what? Now just imagine, I've never met him. And this is like my first impression of him. The second time I go to a con, he sees me, pulls me out of line, sits me with him. Ever since then, we've been friends. We've done dinner. We've done drinks together and shots together. He doesn't charge me for anything. I hang out with him at the cons. I just talked to him yesterday on email and he became like a decent friend of mine that even shouted out my movie for Roseblood. So just imagine like your hero and then you becoming friends with him. So I just can't imagine a better experience than that.
Did he have the fart thing with him?
No, he didn't. He didn't that time. Dude, I was there when he almost chopped his buddy's arm off.
I heard Ted White was there too, because Ted White said he cleaned it up.
Yeah. That was the last time Ted White was there with all of us. We took the pictures of all the Jasons.
Yeah.
And he went to Texas Frightmare. And long story short, he's not doing that good. I just talked to his grandson when I got the mask sign, unfortunately. But so worst experience. Twice I got in line for oh, my brain's gone. Exorcist, who's the girl?
Linda Blair.
Dude, I was in line twice with her and I talked to other people about it and they all have the same experience. She was so rude. And I can only talk about my experience. So she was so rude to everybody in that line. She had like a manager with her. She's like, how many more we have before break? You can hear her, like she's in front of everyone. And then she's like, how much? And she's like, take the money. No. I was in line. I got about 10 people from her. I got disgusted and I got out of line. And a couple of years later, I'm like, maybe she had a bad day. You know, whatever. Let me get back in line, try it again. Because I had the box set, the one she does the crab walk. And I went in line, same shit. And she was being rude to everyone. Another guy in front of me got out of line. And then I got out of line and I talked to other people at Monster Mania and they're like, man, she's like that with everybody. And I'm like, that's so sad. It's not like she has a lot going on. Like you figure she'd be good for that, right?
Well, I got good news for you. Meet Aline Dietz.
Who's that?
She was Pazuzu.
Oh.
I've had her on here twice. She's an absolute doll. And she's had, well, I think Linda Blair is kind of upset for the fact that she's got to admit she's not the only one that played Reagan in that movie.
Right. There was another.
You know.
Yep.
Well, there was. I think Eileen said there was about 6 or 7.
Wow. And Eileen's in it for what? One flash. Right?
She's in it for a couple flashes,
yeah.
But Eileen is wonderful.
Oh, great.
Wonderful, and I've had her on here twice. She sent me a little Pazuzu statue in the mail.
That's great.
She's lovely, and it's sad here in the Linda Blair, because I wanted to get Linda Blair on this show, and I offered when I don't know who I heard from, one of her keepers, one of her people. I offered to make a donation to her animal charity to have her come on my podcast. And whoever it was that responded to me wanted to know how much I was donating. You don't ask that.
Right. Right.
Number one, I'm not rich. Be thankful I'm donating at all.
Correct.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah.
It was sad for me, man, because I was like, why, I didn't want her to be like that, So, and then once again, that's just my two experiences. Maybe I got the bad days, but I can't lie. That's definitely what went down, and definitely people got out of line. So,
I could probably get out of the line too.
and she was like $100 a signature.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, you better be happy. You're basically just printing money here, Like, why are you mad? I don't understand.
I haven't had a bad experience yet, and I'm knock on wood. Lisa Langlois has been a wonderful friend. Every time I'm going to see her when I go to Toronto. Mm-hmm. You've seen Class of 1984.
Yeah.
She was Patsy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She invited me to my first con. She's coming on here for my birthday, actually.
Excellent.
We actually exchanged Christmas gifts through the mail. So I mean, when she wasn't at Frightmare in the Falls last year, but I rented a car. She drove, and wow. She had a friend she was staying with that weekend. I stayed at the Tower Hotel, and when I was done at the con, because I have VIP, she come and picked me up. We made a road trip out of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Lisa is. If you ever get a chance to meet Lisa Langlois, she is awesome. Lovely person. She invited me to my first con, and she's somebody that I'm still, like I said, every time I go to Toronto, I meet up with Lisa. We don't have subways and streetcars here. She taught me how to use all that stuff in Toronto.
Yeah.
She's super awesome. Nancy McLaughlin's super awesome. Although I haven't met her in person, but you'd think we have for the amount, like I said, she called me the other night, and we just chit chatted.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because we're both part of the Christian faith.
Yeah.
So we share that. So we talk a lot. But Nancy is awesome. She's still got the red hair. Yeah. But as far as my con experiences, one person that really blew my mind at Frightmare in the Falls last year was Felissa Rose.
Oh, super nice. Yeah, I talked to her. We tried to get her for Vengeance too. My buddy Dan is a producer here in Connecticut too. He works with her in a couple of films. So she's super nice. She has so much energy, that girl.
Well, I know one thing. We're part of a film.
Z Dead
End? Felissa. Z Dead End.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to
happen? I'm an associate producer.
Okay. Yeah,
I've had Robert on, the director.
I saw his post recently where he said he's going to shorten the film a little bit to get it out, right?
No, I don't want him to shorten it.
I'm pretty sure he posted that. I think he said that he had because they didn't reach the money that they wanted. I mean, go to his page. Don't quote me verbatim. But that's what I heard. I'm supposed to have a scene with Kane. I'm supposed to act with Kane when he's the sheriff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I had him on. Yeah, I've got my name on that.
Okay, great.
Yep. But Felissa Rose was so awesome.
Yeah.
I get up to her table. Actually, I met Dave Sheraton first, who was dressed as Officer Doofy.
Oh, yeah.
I kept asking when do we go get the Officer Doofy Angela crossover? But I get up to his table and I said to him, I'm an associate producer on Z Dead End. And he goes, technically, you're my boss. He turns to Felissa, the next table, and goes, hey, this is our boss. Felissa's like, hi.
Yeah, that's how she is.
But Felissa gave me a big hug. She was delighted to see Sandy Johnson's Doubtfire Face challenge. I showed it to her right there. And Anyway, here's how gracious Sandy or Felissa Rose is. But Sandy Johnson's gracious too. But Felissa Rose, I told her I was getting a picture signed from my younger brother who was taking care of my parents at the time. And I told her about that. And she said, "Can I do a shout out for your brother?" And she did a shout out video to my brother.
That's cool.
And she didn't charge me for it. Like I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
So Felissa made a big impression on me. Um, Vernon Wells is great.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, Vernon Wells is great. Another one that I went to Toronto Comic Con, and there were two guests that really stood out to me. One was John Rhys Davies
Oh, yeah.
from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
He would always ask everybody what they did for a living, where they're from. When I got my picture taken with him, he put his arm around me and went like that into my side to get me to react. And the other one that made an impression on me was Corbin Burson.
Corbin Bernstein. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess his handler taught him how to do selfies.
Yeah.
And boy, he was just going ape with doing selfies.
Yeah. Corbin Bernstein, that's from Major League.
Yeah.
Yeah. A million movies, but yeah.
He was great. Who else did you meet that was wonderful to meet?
Everybody. CJ Graham. I mean, Tom McLaughlin. We talk and we FaceTime. Everybody. Steve Dash. You know, I mean, the whole documentary. I did a documentary on Steve Dash. I don't know if you saw it. About him and his family. We interviewed his son and everything about that because he passed away during the end of Vengeance.
You know what? I heard from Sean Clark. I had Sean Clark on here a couple times. He said one of his biggest regrets is he got a voicemail from Steve Dash one weekend. It was the weekend he passed, and it was a wonderful voicemail he got. He said he kicks himself to this day that he did not answer the phone for that day because Steve died, and you know, and I often ask Sean how Ted White is doing, you know, because yeah,
just talked to his grandson 2 days ago.
Yeah,
he can't take pictures with masks anymore. He can't get up, so not good, unfortunately.
I heard he's still doing autographs on line though.
Yeah, but he used to take pictures with him. He no longer can get up to take the pictures with him. So just got one last week, and I talked to his grandson online.
Yeah, I love Ted. He's in it like he's in his late 90s, so he's lived a really good life.
97, stuntman for John Wayne.
John Wayne, Clark Gable.
Yeah.
Lee Murray. He knew Marilyn Monroe when she was Norma Jean.
Yeah. And back then, there's no like safety. It's like, hey, we need you to fall off the horse. Okay, I just got to fall off the horse. You break your arm next. Like, you know, there's no nothing. It was just that's the way it was. Crazy. Here
is my nightmare story. I interviewed Ted White, and I had a great interview with him. But he, during the interview, this was the first one I did with him in 2016. He said, how we got to talk about Judy Aronson. He goes, how would you like to have her on your show? I said, I'd love to have her on my show. And he goes, I have her number. Would you like it?
Wow.
And I said, I'd love it. Don't give it to me over the air. And he said, yeah. He said he'd email it to me. And I was like, he said, she would love to do your show. I was like, wow. And then we got to talk about Kane Hodder, and he says, well, would you like his number? I said, sure. And he emailed me the numbers.
Wow.
Now, I didn't call either one of them for the longest time because I didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
Here's what, and that was 2016. I still had the numbers up to 2019 because what had happened in January 2019, Dick Miller passed away. Mm-hmm. I had Dick Miller on Python's Paradise here 5 months before he passed. Wow. And I didn't even have him on my list to reach out to. It was just a fluke. Would Dick Miller do my show? I had a great interview with him. So that was when I decided to reach out.
Right.
Because I didn't want something to happen to either one of them and me have their numbers all this time. So I called Kane, got his answering machine, left a message, told him how I got his number, who I was, blah, blah, blah. Never heard back. I'm not offended. I'm fine. I'm happy to meet him at a con. Okay. He doesn't know who I am. Okay. Judy Aronson was where the problem began. I called Judy Aronson. And she says, I got a woman response, says I had a wrong number. Okay, maybe I dialed wrong. But I didn't call right back. I called Ted the next day. And Ted said, that's her number. And I said, do you think maybe I spooked her? And he says, no, no, no. She would love to do your show. Okay, well, Ted would know. So we got into 13 Fanboy more, and it was into shooting. I took another shot and I called again. This time a woman answered claiming to be her cousin. I never called again after that. Right. So I had Debbie Sue Voorhees, the director of 13 Fanboy. She's been on my show 5 times. It got weird with Debbie Sue on that 3rd interview because I brought this up to her and she told me to lose the numbers.
Right.
And I did. I don't have Kane's number and I don't have Judy's number. I still got Ted's. I called him during the pandemic, but I'm not going to call him now because I know he's having some health issues. But here's the thing. It made me uncomfortable when Debbie said that. Then with the Doubtfire Face challenge, I tried to pitch it out because I put $3K into that movie.
Right.
So I tried to get people from that movie to take part. Ron Sloan did do it.
He's awesome.
And I got Lar Park Lincoln to do it.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Scotty McCoy, who's a podcaster. I don't know whether you've been on his show or not.
I have.
Scotty's wonderful. He's been on my show 6 times.
Yeah, he interviewed like everybody from Rosebud. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I've had Jessica Hopman on. We'll get to that.
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yep. She was awesome. But anyway, Scotty told me go after people on Cameo for the Doubtfire challenge. And I had some luck with some wrestlers. I like Tori Wilson did it. James Ellsworth did it. Roddy Piper's daughter, Ariel, did it on my birthday,
cool.
Which was pretty cool. I threw it out to Judy Aronson. And on the Cameo, I put my name, I put 13 Fanboy co-producer.
Yep.
And she was totally down for it. But due to the pandemic, which I get, this was 2020, she couldn't do it then, but she promised she would do it. Last year, around about Thanksgiving, I threw out some more Doubtfire challenges because there was some of them were down in price or whatnot. And I thought, I'll check in with Judy and throw it out to her again. This time she goes totally the other direction on it. And with my feelings about Debbie Sue, how things got weird there, I don't know whether something was said or what. I don't know, and I can't prove anything.
Right.
But when Judy Aronson declined it, I didn't react well. And basically it came off as I'm not important enough or high in the hierarchy for 13 Fanboy. That's how it came off to me. So I had a few words to say about that. She certainly wasn't coming off the same person that Ted White and Vernon Wells described with glowing details about how nice she was. I got accused. Somebody on 13 Fanboy accused me of stalking her.
Just by like online?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now I can prove I didn't.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I can prove I didn't. And I can also prove, I just did through my phone records, prove I only called twice.
Right.
But the Doubtfire Challenge got shit all over. And I feel crushed that Judy was not the person that Ted White had described. And it's not Ted White's fault. You know, I don't know what the story is with that. I don't know if you've ever met Judy.
Have not. On the
Nope.
list for sure,
But I never had any bad experience at a con. But as far as doing this show, that is the worst experience I had.
I'm sorry you had to do that or go through that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And no, I take the suicide. I'm on antidepressants, so I take that seriously. So I was upset with that. I won't be given $3,000 to any other projects again. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I
You
hear you.
know.
I mean, obviously we have backers for our movies too, and I mean, I try to take care of those people as much as I can. They become
Yeah.
really good friends, a lot of them.
Yep. But it says a lot about somebody like Lar Park Lincoln that would do it.
Right.
You know. So
She's great, and she's she puts no makeup on. That's a big thing for someone that's an actress, to do it. A lot of women wouldn't do that.
Sandy Johnson, like I said, she did a great one too. If you get the chance to check that one out.
Yeah.
And Nancy did it in front of props from Jason Lives.
That's awesome.
Which was pretty cool. So that is unfortunate. And I don't wish anything bad on Judy Aronson, but that was crushing, especially since the final chapter is one of my favorites of the franchise.
And she's gorgeous in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that whole scene, what's so weird about that movie, part 4, when Ted White stabs her through the bottom, the raft should have sunk. Later on, the boyfriend goes and looks for it. The raft's still there. It would have sunk. It went through the bottom of the raft. Right? I never thought about it until like a year ago. I was like, what the hell's going on here? She's so beautiful, you don't even think about the raft, you don't even care. Yeah.
maybe she floats. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked her in it. I think she had a good character in it, but I mean, I'm really sorry this happened.
Yeah.
But I think there were people from it's been brought up, and I got an email from Debbie Sue saying the opposite. There's people from 13 Fanboy that have said that screenings of the film were canceled because of, quote, my actions.
What? Like a bomb threat kind of thing? Like that's crazy, huh?
Well, here's the funny thing. I brought it up to Debbie Sue in an email because I was getting pissed off hearing about it.
So sorry to cut you off. So they thought you were gonna like show up and like cause a scene or something?
I guess.
Yeah.
Debbie Sue, I got an email. I've got an email on here. So Jason Bradford and Vincent DeSante or Christopher Norris, they could put it in their pipe and smoke it. I got an email from Debbie Sue Voorhees saying nothing was canceled because of me. So somebody is spreading a lot of horse shit about me.
So the 3 gentlemen you named, you think was one of them?
I don't think Vincent DeSante was.
Okay.
I think Vincent DeSante was a recipient, but he didn't seem too interested to hear my side of the story.
Right.
I was just guilty because I wasn't famous enough, I guess. So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So that was this wasn't at a con, but that was my worst experience, So
this one's a lot longer lasting than a con, like me with her, 5-10 minutes, I don't really care. This is a big deal because you're a big backer and everything, so I get how it's emotional.
Well, somebody had said that somebody had said on a screenshot that was sent to me that he thinks because he donated some money, we got to do what he says. No, I didn't donate just some money.
Right. It's hurtful to hear that, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, suicide and depression. I think Debbie Sue thought the pie in the face thing was making fun of suicide and depression. Okay, then how is dumping ice water on yourself not doing the same thing about ALS?
It's just taking someone out of their comfort zone to bring awareness. That's all it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it was just because, and this is just my theory, I'm not important enough.
Right.
Yep. But I'm glad there's some people out there that thought I was pretty good with it. I did with Lisa actually in Toronto a few years back, So yeah, but
That's what it's about.
nonetheless, that was my only real bad experience, and I wish Judy well, but I'm not a threat. I don't care how many assholes from that film say I am. Fuck them. Fuck them 13 times.
In the ass. Yeah.
Yep. You know,
Hey, I'm not
uh,
scared of you. I'm talking to you. I'm cool.
you know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to be at Frightmare in the Falls, and somebody has hinted that Judy and Debbie Sue are supposed to be there. Now,
It would be listed, right?
it's not listed yet, but you know what?
They do wait sometimes.
Here's the deal. I'm not going to let that keep me from enjoying myself, but I'll tell you one thing. Um, I'm not going to go down there and be put in a position where I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just because people see me as some kind of villain.
Yeah. I mean, I would not go up to them because no matter what, they're gonna make it seem like you're the bad guy, right? I would assume from what you're
Well,
saying.
the band Blood Opera will be there, and they know me well. The promoter knows me well. So, but no, I'm not going to make a scene. But if they show up there, and they, by the way, regardless of what they say, they know I do that con. They know I do Horrorama. If they're afraid of me, why are they showing up at a con that I'm going to be at?
Right. Right.
It's not like I'm going out of my way to go to their cons. I don't have a passport. Not that I can't get one, I just don't have one.
Yeah.
You know.
Canada's like the hardest. That's why I won't go to Canada. And I was gonna go. Canada's like the hardest country to get in and out of right now. So I'm like, I probably won't go for a while. I was gonna go to Frightmare one year. Dick Whelan, that's who it is. Dick Whelan from Part 5 was there. I had a buddy go and get a signature for me.
Yeah. Laura wanted to come back. She sent me a text about it, but I think they're all filled up. But they do have a good roster of people that are supposed to be there for it.
Yep.
Here's my backup. Skittles. Skittles, I'm not a bad guy, am I? Skittles says, as long as you have treats, you're never the bad guy. You're never the bad guy. Says, he says, if only those people could see the way I do.
Dude, most cats wouldn't even my mother's cat would never let me do that. I think it would kill me.
Oh, this is my buddy. He's my buddy. He's my buddy Skittles. Lisa Langlois sent a Christmas hat for him, the Christmas cat stocking one year for Christmas. And yeah, Skittles did not want to wear the Santa face and the Santa hat.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I'd be hard enough to get a dog to do it. Never mind a cat.
Yeah. But we've talked enough about this. We're going to talk about your film,
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's talk about Roseblood. Now, I know you've done Vengeance.
Yep.
You had a good experience doing that.
Oh, great.
Actually, I got to go off track a little bit. You mentioned Steve Dash. What do you think of the Warrington Gillette situation with that?
I know it very well, probably better than most because I know the family. And they explained the whole situation. I have the sack signed here. This is super rare, and you could ask the family because they didn't believe me. I had to show them a video. I had Warrington Gillette sign the sack because I saw him first, and then I had Steve sign it later. And people told me, dude, you go up there with that, he's gonna rip it or break it. They said he's been known to rip pictures that have Warrington's signature on it with him. So long story short, Steve signed that sack after Warrington did for me. And that's how we started to become pretty good friends. And that's why I knew him to call him for Vengeance. But I guess the whole thing, it started, Steve wasn't online. He never knew anything. The deal was with Paramount was going to give Warrington the credit, but nobody ever gave Steve Dash the credit. And I guess Steve's problem is, Warrington's in a tough spot, is Warrington signing pictures that wasn't him. Get it? So Steve's getting pissed off. Steve's not online. He's older. All of a sudden he finds out about it. I guess it was in Texas. He confronted him, and that was the big deal, and he hated him ever since, kind of thing. So sadly, that's the way it worked out. And if you're Warrington, and I'm not trying to play devil's advocate, but like if you got the credit and Paramount said it was you, like, are you really going to go around and say no to every signature that someone says, can you sign this for the movie? It's a tough spot. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, Warrington's supposed to be at Frightmare, and I've had him on the show.
Yeah. Super nice guy to me.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I don't know how much of what he says I don't know,
Right.
because I know he had, not only did he have crosswords with Steve Dash, but also with Cliff Cundy as
Yeah.
well. So I don't know. He'll be there. It's an uncomfortable. Nice guy, but it was right after Steve Dash had passed, and I was like, and I had to say, rest in peace, Steve Dash, and there was a little bit of cringe in there, a little
Yeah.
bit of cringe. I got nothing against Warrington personally, but I'd be interested to hear what Amy Steele says. So
I've seen tons of interviews where, because they were the people who basically told everyone, no, Steve was the guy. It's crazy. Two other people played part two. Well, three. One of the producers is his pant legs walking off the curb into the puddle. That's here in Connecticut. And later on, the guy with the thumb with the black and blue, supposedly that was a guy on set, wasn't Steve. And there's a guy who's credited as Jason as the Prowler, who was another guy who's a stunt guy who dragged the body down the stairs. So there's actually like 4 or 5 people, that including Warrington, that played Jason in part 2. It's kind of just a weird thing.
I interviewed Laura Marie Taylor, and I asked her what it was like to play a Slinky.
True.
She did the Doubtfire challenge, by the way.
She does the pictures with the brown underwear all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's wonderful. I said, she did the Doubtfire challenge on Cameo too.
Oh,
She
great.
was every bit the trooper that Lar was,
Yeah.
But anyway, you did Vengeance. What made you go into Roseblood?
So Vengeance was shooting, they were going to shoot 1 week and then like take a week off and then get the other actors they needed for the second week and do that. And I had a crazy idea where I was talking to Riley Lord, who's a host of Slash and Cash podcast and is the director of Fall of Camp Blood. And I was like, hey man, what if I wrote like a little 10, 15, 20-minute short that I could shoot in between, just as like a shooting the shit kind of thing. He's like, yeah, go for it. So I talked to Jason Brooks. I'm like, hey, maybe I can grab Sanaya and some people from Vengeance and make this little short or whatever. He's like, yeah, man, go ahead. Well, I never wrote before. I never directed, never did anything. So I wrote this whole thing out and I gave it to him. And he's like, dude, this is a full-length film. He's like, this is awesome. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, maybe I'll try fundraising, see what we can do. And started to fundraise, got in contact with Lar. I didn't even have her in the movie. Told her, hey, listen, I was thinking about making a cameo with you. And she's like, well, why don't you put me in as a whole thing, put me as a real character and redo the story. I'm like, okay. So then I wrote that scene out. But when I showed the doctor, I was only going to show him from chest to waist. You get it? So he'd be like circling the room, but you wouldn't see him. She's like, oh, I think we can get Terry. I'm like, what? And then we can get Terry. And then Kevin now is Kevin Spiritus, but was Kevin Blair. And we got all that. All of a sudden, literally, man, in 3 days, I had an idea to, holy shit, we have this whole thing coming on. Wrote the script in a couple of days, did the Indiegogo fundraise in 110 days from zero air to idea to fundraising the actors and the movie. It was unbelievable. We shot it in 8 days in Seattle. It was like a dream come true, to be honest.
And I gotta say again, when my dad passed away on April 5th, Lara is hit or miss online to catch her,
Very true.
Yep, hit or miss online. I was surprised and touched when I got a very nice message from her talking about my dad. Like I was like, wow, because she didn't have to do that.
Right.
So I got a brand new love for Lar Park Lincoln, for that.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that, But
her saying yes to this was just like amazing, because she started the whole catalyst of her, Terry, Kevin, which just started everything. Because with them on it, we got a lot more money,
Yeah, and how cool is it that Jessica Hotman actually looks like a young Tina?
Yeah, Laura told her how to get the haircut and everything. We were gonna do the bangs, but then we talked about it. She was in there for 13 months, so she wouldn't have kept them because she don't care about herself. So we said we'll just grow them out. We won't do the bangs. But yeah, she did. So we have 160 auditions, video that I got of Tina, young Tina, and Jessica Hotman, her eyes. Because like I say this all the time, if you go back and watch Seven, Tina doesn't have a lot of lines. She's always her eyes are always like telling the story. So I needed somebody that had those microaggressions in their eyes. And Jessica, my God, her eyes are like made for that. And once I saw her audition, I said, that's it. That's the girl right there. And I thought it was a good choice. It worked out pretty good.
I had a lot of fun having her on the show too, you know.
Yeah,
Yep,
super
she was
nice
a
girl.
lot. Yep. And of course, I'm gonna mispronounce the name of the girl that played Rose.
Sanaya Lutsis.
How do you say it?
Sanaya
Uh-huh.
Lutsis.
Lucis?
Lutsis. Loutsis.
Lucis.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know that.
Yeah, it's tough. Both of them together, they don't look like the way that you think they'd sound. But
She was really good in this too. That was an interesting little dynamic because she was almost the opposite of Tina.
correct. So Tina's pure and she's pink, and
Mm-hmm.
Rose is actually evil, so she's red. So
Mm-hmm.
that's like the symbol. And everybody in there, the lab people are white. They're meaningless. They're part of the wall. The military is green. The fast team is black. The Duke is multicolored because he doesn't fit into anything. Like all that was planned out kind of by me when I did the wardrobing. But yeah, I thought their dynamic was the biggest sell of the movie. That's why I spent so much time on their relationship. But I think it works. I think at the end, you really buy into their relationship.
Yeah. And what made you bring the Duke character into this?
It's just like a kid in a candy store. So like, the facility is Jason X. That's what that is, Camp Crystal Lake Research, because I had to figure out, okay, I had to be close to the lake. And okay, well, when Tina blew up the house with Nick, the military would have known. They would have saw Dr. Cruz's notes and so many weird instances. So they would have made this facility on the lake. Okay, Jason X, that makes sense. The lake, and that's why if you look on the wall, the Part 9 Uber, the pre-Uber costumes on the wall with the chains, because that's how they were going to capture him. So then I was like, I don't know. I'm like, why don't we throw somebody else in there and tell a story of backstory? I'm like, well, who had a backstory? The Duke had a backstory. So to me, I wanted to show his backstory because I didn't like 9, but I liked the Duke. So I showed the backstory. So when the janitor gets killed, he goes, you're going to remember me. That's what I put in to match 9 when he hits him with the handcuffs. Remember me? That's what he says to him. So that's how the dynamic that I wanted to fill in that little hole of his backstory. So I thought he did great. Jake Quint Broden played that
You
part.
know, Adam Marcus had a whole backstory.
It
Jason
was a
goes to
boy. He killed his girlfriend or something like that.
1960.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing. I don't know whether he shot that footage, but I wouldn't have minded seeing that. You know.
He didn't shoot it, I don't think. But
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, but nonetheless, you know, the Duke character was brought into this, and I don't want to spoil anything, but another character was brought into this as
We can spoil
well.
it. Everybody's seen it already. It's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yes. I'm glad you brought it up because some people, it's funny, some reviewers and fans watch the movie once. A lot of people love it, but some people are like, oh, it doesn't make any sense. I was like, watch it again. And then I explained that Michael's always been in the movie. So Michael killed her parents. Michael is the one who was in the room with the kitchen knife. Michael's the one she draws with the red pen. So it's always, Michael was always her manifestation. So that they knew that because they saw it on TV. You just as an audience don't see it. So then when I told everybody that and they watched it again, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. She needed the 2 shots to bring him live, the 2 red eyes to get it, where Tina was weaker. That's why she needed the serum to bring Jason in. So there's a lot more to it than what you think.
Oh well, I never thought of it that way.
Yep, it's because
Because
Tina was like a failed student. She couldn't do what they wanted her to do. So the Duke was making the serum to try to get her to control it more. But once they found Rose, it was like they didn't need Tina anymore. And Rose just was so young, she really couldn't control him. She could bring him in and out. But then when she got the second shot in her arm, bang, do her double red eye, boom, she was full, like, powered at that point. And it took Tina 30 years of the shots. That's why her arm is rotting when you see the flip back to her pulling Jason out, because she wasn't as strong as Rose, and it almost killed her to get to that strength.
wow. I never thought of that. Where did you come up with that?
Man, I just shot it out in 3 days. I don't know. I really don't know. I never wrote before, so I'm not trying to act like a hero or make an excuse. It just kind of came to me. I mean, 40 years of watching these films, I kind of had a good background of what I thought everyone should be in Tina. That's the hardest part when I'm writing. I'm like, what would that character say? What words would they choose over other words, especially the doctor, because he's kind of witty and mean, like Dr. Cruz and Terry. And I think we did a good job. Like Terry was like bumped up a little more evil because he was like kind of dead in her head. So I thought it worked out, that scene with them in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any ever thought of bringing Jennifer Blanco into it?
Jennifer Blanco is in it. So when you hear Terry Kaiser go Tina, and Laura falls back in the seat, she wish you just leave me alone. That's Jennifer Blanco's voice.
Oh
When she was in the
wow.
rowboat. Yeah,
Okay.
I talked to her about it. I'm like, hey, you're in it. She's like, oh, that's awesome.
I was supposed to have Jennifer Blanco on my show in May. I'm going to tell you, she's somebody. It's hard to get her focused.
Yeah.
I watch her videos, and I gotta say, she's hysterical,
Yeah.
walking her dogs and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to nail her down to an interview because I don't. That she caught my messages one day there, and she was going to do my show in May. She's never responded after that. Now I don't take offense to it. I think she's one of these people, and I've ran into them before. They go online for a moment. The messages are oblivious. They catch them. They catch them. It's hard to get their attention.
I can tell you firsthand, and I'm 1 billionth, right, the size of their stardom, that I'll get like my birthday over 1,000 messages, and some of them might just be non-birthday messages, but now they go down 1,000, and then every day you get 50 or 100. Dude, if you don't get to it right away, that thing is 5,000 back, and you'll miss it. So I totally understand how they could miss stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But I always watch her story updates. So
Yeah,
the faces she makes.
She's another one that looks great.
Yeah,
yeah.
But the faces she makes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, she's a hoot.
Another person I met that was great, Darcy DeMoss, who's awesome. I got a picture of her and all of them part 6 back together. I had a picture with them all, and me holding her up in the air. She's like 100 pounds. She's still in phenomenal shape. And she revises her role, Nikki, in Vengeance 2. We have her living from the face impact.
How do you do that?
She never died on screen.
Of course, she died on screen, because when you see them take the ambulance, one of those covered sheets has a bloodied. It's bloody right where the head face is. The other guy got it through the side of the head. Hers would have been on the face.
What part was the ambulance with that?
Remember when they found the pieces of Roy, the paintball guy?
Oh yeah.
And that was when they were loading the ambulance up, where they found the.
But the paintball guys were before that, right?
Yeah, but they found all the pieces of Roy.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because remember when they're loading them up, Vinny calls Sheriff Garris over. Goes, come on over here and see this.
Okay.
So that would have been somewhere nearby.
Yeah. Well,
but when you see them with the bodies there, but like when they're covered up in sheets, one of them is totally bloody. That would have been Darcy DeMoss' character.
Well, I guess we're going to skip over that in the lore of Vengeance 2. But she is scarred in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She's great in that movie too, man. She shines. I've seen it. It's not out yet, but I've seen it.
Yeah. But I don't know. So you're
What did
doing
you think when you saw Michael at the end of Roseblood?
I was like, did I hit a button and go to a different channel? What happened?
Yeah, it makes more sense now when I explain it, though, right?
You know what? I remember when I saw From Dusk Till Dawn in the theater. And I don't know what I was doing, but I looked away from the movie screen for half a moment. I don't know what I was doing. And when I looked back up, there was a vampire chewing a chunk out of Quentin Tarantino. And I was like, what the fuck did I just miss?
Right.
I was confused for a few minutes,
Yeah.
you know. So I didn't look away from the screen, but I was like, what's happening?
Yeah, she manifested her power to fight Jason. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but are you going to do a third Vengeance?
No, Jason's not. Sean's not. We've spent in insane amounts of money, all three of us, making movies like that. So we did our part. I think we made our little niche in what we wanted to do, told the stories we wanted to tell, and now it's time to make movies to actually get some money back, maybe.
You know what? In Vengeance, I'm going to say I watching Jason Brooks play the drunk guy was great.
Louis. Yeah, he's phenomenal, dude. He'll go a lot. Jason Brooks is very quiet, very humble, kind of shy, you could say, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
He went live. He'll put the Louis costume on and he'll go live. Man, he's got to be one of the most talented one-liners I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean like he remembers them. Like some fan will say something and he'll take the words and make it into something really funny, like on the spot. He's phenomenal as that character. He plays the two best characters in that movie, Jason and Louis, I think. So both by him.
Oh, I hated it when Louis died. I was like, I wish the focus was on him.
And who the fuck are you, Mickey Myers? Yeah, that was great. One of the producers is in the Jason costume on a 6-foot box or 4-foot box, and that's why he's taller than Louis, because Jason's 6'5". So
Talk about working with Steve Dash during those last short time.
I didn't fly down. So because he was in bad health, they flew to his house in Florida. I was actually supposed to go, but I couldn't go. So, but Jason, in the documentary, they talked about that. Him, Jason, Jules, and a bunch of the cast, the crew was down there, and he was like so loving and open to their home and feeding them, letting them stay there, and it was great. It was just, I'll never forget when Jason Brooks called me. I was in my room. It was 11 at night, and he's like, "Yeah, Steve passed," because he just had his leg amputated, and we thought he was going to make it, and everything was great, and so I'll never forget that. But I've met him at cons multiple times. I'm friends with his daughter, friends with his son. So it's been a great experience. We're lucky that we got to have him for that role.
Yeah, yeah. So I got to look at your credits here because I know you got some other stuff here I want to ask you about.
Yeah, another one that just released about a month or two ago was Fall of Camp Blood, which is a continuation of 4.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, you should watch it. You'll like it. It's a short. It's 50 minutes.
Oh, you're not going to tell the story about Judy Aronson and the floating raft?
What do you mean? Oh, in there? No.
Talk about Z Dead End.
I don't know yet, man. I talked to Robert a couple months ago, and I don't know. Whenever they get lined up, I'm supposed to go shoot and do my part. So I have like a 1-day shoot, I think. So I don't know. I wish I knew more.
You play Agent Storm.
Correct. I'm supposed to be in the scene with Kane where he plays the cop, because I think he already shot some of his parts. So that's all I know. I don't have the script yet. I don't have anything yet. But I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Okay. Let me see what else we got here that I'm going to ask you about. Red Swan.
A lot of these other ones are on hold. That's a Jules Valente movie that hasn't really got funded yet, I don't believe, but it's in script form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about, oh, well, this one's pre-production, When the Sun Dies. Okay.
A lot of them are, yeah, either I'm producing on. So the acting ones are Fall Camp Blood, Vengeance 2, and Roseblood.
And I'm looking at the ones you were acting in, but you got quite a few stuff you produce. You got a documentary, Steve Dash, Husband, Father, Grandfather, and Memorial documentary.
That's the one I spoke about. That one's, you'll like that. That's about 30 minutes. Really good piece.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm in it because I'm interviewed in it, but
Do you have footage of him in that talking any?
Oh yeah, yeah. We have interviews with him and Jason Brooks. We have him
Okay.
talking about vengeance. We have his son talking about him. We have his growing up with his family. We have him at cons. His last con, his last words that he said. We have him singing. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, he apparently, I did not know this for the longest time. I guess he made a cameo in one of my favorite horror films. I guess he played a cop in it. Was Miss 45.
I don't even know that film.
I love that film.
I have to look that Miss 45,
Yeah.
like Mrs. MRS.
No, MS.45.
Got it.
Yep. Come out this same year as Friday the 13th Part 2.
He has a ton of stunt role credits.
Yeah.
He's in Nighthawk with Stallone.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was 1981 as well.
When they go onto the dock and the helicopter takes off, he's right there. And so is Cudney. Cudney was right next to him. Yep.
Well, like when people passed away, I do tribute interviews.
Mhm.
You know, like Zoe, the Miss 45 in question. I had her widow on because she unfortunately died of a drug overdose at 37 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah. I've had Alfred Hitchcock's granddaughter on here. I've had Audrey Hepburn's eldest son on here. Bela Lugosi Jr., Sarah Karloff, Roddy Piper's son and daughter's been on here. Jim Varney's nephew was on here, which was pretty cool.
That's cool.
He was Ernest P. Worrell.
Yeah.
Yep. So I do stuff like that when people pass. I should reach out to somebody related to Steve Dash and have them come on and talk about him.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can hit me up after this, and I'll see if I can arrange that.
Yeah, you know, because I was happy to interview Warrington Gillette, but I wish I never did get never got Steve on. I don't know whether I reached out to him or not. That's hazy, but
He's a feisty guy, man. He's great. He's my kind of guy. He's a no bullshit guy.
no bullshit guy. Yeah,
No bullshit guy for sure. Yeah. He
yeah.
don't like you. He don't like you. He'll tell you. Yeah. Not saying you. I'm just saying, you know, in general. Like Warrington, he had no problem saying what he wanted to say about Warrington, you know.
Oh, there's lots of people from 13 Fanboy don't like me, so I'm to the point now where I don't care, you know.
Hey man, if I cared how much, when you make a movie, you're gonna get people that don't like you. Like it is what it is. You can't worry about it, really. You know.
Well, I put the money into the movie, and I put a lot of promotional effort into that movie. So there you go. I did my part.
Yeah.
Sorry, I turned them off. Some of them.
If you can go to sleep knowing you didn't do anything wrong in whatever situation it is, to me that's okay. You know, if somebody else wants to tell a different story, that's the way it is. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but when I hear stuff like stalking and shit like that, that's a little scary. That's slander.
Yeah, it puts you like in the almost like the pedophile realm almost. You know what I'm saying? It's like a weird thing. I agree. It's almost like even if it's not true, it kind of sticks with you.
It sticks with me, but like I said, I can prove otherwise. So that's a whole difference. I can prove otherwise. But nonetheless, what is up next for you?
I'm still sending out perks and stuff. So we're still working on the behind the scenes for Roseblood. The behind the scenes will be its whole second disc. So we have a lot going into the behind the scenes. So I interviewed all the cast crew. We have so many gag reels, so many things like that. So that's probably a month away. So the Blu-rays and stuff are probably 2 months, 3 months away. And then everything will be out for Roseblood. And then I have Vengeance 2 coming out where I play a small role in it. I'm a producer in that. So we got to do that. And then maybe Z Dead End, hopefully sometime soon. And then, man, I'm going to take a big break. I've probably spent close to 100 grand of my own money. So just want to relax, and then maybe I'm probably going to try to write my own film to try to go to Amazon. So we'll see, but I need a break first. But that's what's next.
Do you have footage of Lar cracking up on outtakes?
Oh yeah, we played some of them once on an interview. We have Terry Kaiser swearing in a mess up. We have Kevin Spirito sliding by the door, missing his spot. We have a lot of great stuff.
Oh,
that was a great scene because I was so nervous. You know, I don't even know how to turn on a camera. And here I am directing Terry, and Kevin's a 6-time Emmy Award winner now. And Laura and all them and Terry, we're all in the room and we're like scared, And then Terry's like, shit, fuck, piss, damn it, do it again. And I'm like, oh, he's human. It like broke the ice and we all started laughing, So that was pretty cool. Like they forget lines just like we all do.
I love watching footage of Lar at cons where she plays off this looking for a man thing, and she finds like Slimer from Ghostbusters or something along that line, and watching her react. I've never met her in person, but she strikes me as somebody that's just hysterical.
Yeah, she's got like I don't know what the word is, but her wit, like she'll be quick, snappy with stuff like that. Like in one of the scenes, I'm trying to have her hold her hands up when she's fighting Jason at the end against the wall. And in one of the outtakes, I'm like, and she's like, what count? I'm like 4. So she's like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. My neck hurts, turn. And everybody starts laughing. She's like basically saying, I don't want to keep holding my hands up because my neck hurts. And it was just funny on set. She ended up having neck surgery a couple of months after that. I didn't even know her neck was hurt. So
Yeah,
so that was funny.
I was supposed to have her on last fall for the second time, and it had to be postponed due to her neck injury. I was happy to get the Doubtfire challenge out of her. I am planning to have her back on the show. But I do know that when she does come on the show, I'm going to tease her with this.
Nutella. Yeah.
She loves Nutella.
I don't know any woman that doesn't love Nutella.
Yeah, well, I know she loves Nutella. Did you get her some Nutella at the craft service table?
No, we had better than that, to be honest. But no, I didn't have Nutella. She didn't ask for it.
Listen, when you have Lar on your set, you have to have Nutella.
We had fresh tea. She wanted fresh tea every day. We had that.
She wanted fresh tea with Nutella.
I learned something now. I got to talk to her.
She wanted to take the tea and stir some Nutella in it.
We had great craft services. We were like 5-course meals served to us all day, every day.
But no Nutella.
No, not that I remember. I definitely asked her what she wanted. I don't remember that being on the request.
You weren't hearing right.
Sure, she'll bring it up and bust my balls about it now.
Oh, she is awesome, and of course we must plug the Actors Edition Studios that she gets a lot of talented people coming out of that. So she did the
award from that.
Well, I made a donation to it for the Doubtfire challenge. I know I had to, it was amazing that she did that,
It was.
Yeah. So do you got any other things that you got to promote?
No, man. I'm ready for the pie, bro. I'm ready for the pie.
You know who you're gonna?
The pie is no longer like high because we've been sitting here for 2 hours. It's like folded down, but it's ready. Oh, it's still ready.
You know what? Of course, you were nominated by Lar Park Lincoln. It's funny. I haven't done one during an interview since I had Deborah Lamb on here, we're both part of the Witches of the Sand.
Okay.
And Deborah Lamb did it at the end of her interview with me, and her husband shows up afterwards, and his sister said, "Did you do it yet?" It was so funny. Oh, she was great, but this is for suicide and depression awareness, and I take it seriously. I'm sorry, there are some. I apologize to any one of these people I nominate that I keep after, but I know what the self-esteem is all about. I know what it's like not to feel important, not to feel included. I keep after people. I've had people where I donate to their charities and then they not follow through. And that's not cool. So, so when Debbie Sue or Judy Aronson, whoever gets upset when I keep after, well, that's why. I don't like the feeling of being made to feel like I don't matter.
Right.
Nobody should have to feel that way.
Agreed.
Everybody. I've had people on the show. I had a filmmaker reach out to me not too long ago, was in post-production on his werewolf movie. I had no idea who he was. but he reached out to me and asked if he could do my show. I didn't say no. Who am I to say no?
Right.
He was on my show for nearly 2 hours.
Wow.
This is a guy that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I had another guy, David Black, an Australian filmmaker. I got a message out of the blue from him. He asked if I interview Aussie filmmakers. I said, sure. I didn't say, I don't know who you are.
Right.
He actually said to me, you probably won't get any more than half hour out of me. We talked for 2.5 hours.
That's nice.
A lot of it about Australia, the wildlife, and his films. You know, just like this interview was stretched a long time. We talked about our love for the franchise. We eventually got to your films, but we got to your films, but this was pretty fun.
Yeah, because we're big fans, so we have a lot in common as far as that.
And
Yeah.
I'd love to have you back next year when you've got more stuff on the go. And, you know, if you do your own movie, if your own ideas, hope you're able to bring some of these people into it.
Terry Kaiser would play my father. That would be the one guy. I already talked to him about it. Would you do it? And he said 100%. So that's the one guy I definitely would have in him. I learned from him just talking every day. The guy's so talented.
You have Lar.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit there's no woman role like that. You know what I'm saying? In my idea right now.
Listen, your idea has to have Lar.
Okay. Now that it's recorded too, it definitely will.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am saying it now. We need more Lar, lovely Lar. We need more Lar in the world out there.
I agree. I agree. I mean, she does your challenge, no makeup on, live online. It's a great thing. You know, like I said, you meet some of your heroes and they blow you away. She's one of them.
Yep. Well, you know who you're going to nominate?
Yeah, you want me to do it after, right? It's supposed to be while I'm
Yep.
tripping, right?
Sure.
I got my 3 people.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. This is gonna be horrible, bro. Am I supposed to say anything before? How do I do this?
Just say that you were nominated by Lar Park Lincoln for the Doubtfire Pie in the Face Suicide Depression Challenge, and say that who you're going to nominate.
Well, I'm gonna smash it, then I'm gonna nominate.
Yep.
So this is from Lar Park Lincoln, who nominated me for the Doubtfire Pie in the Face Suicide Awareness Challenge. And before I smashed the pie in my face, we've all gone through moments like that, and I have too. In the last couple of years, I lost 5 of my best friends. My stepson's no longer with me, and it was one of the worst times in the history of my life. I'm not a big complainer. I don't talk about it from that old school.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Kind of from the old school, you're supposed to be tough, kind of thing. So it was very tough. And the fans and the movies that I made saved me. My relationships with Lar and Jason Brooks and Sean Lutzis and the fans and people like you saved me when I was by myself here thinking about bad things. So I totally get where that comes from all walks of life. So here we go. This thing's going to be terrible. Oh, here we go. So I nominate the immortal Jason Brooks, who played Jason Voorhees in Vengeance 1 and 2. I nominate the wonderful Jessica Hotman, who played young Tina in Roseblood. And third but not least, Darcy DeMoss, who played Nikki in Part 6 and plays in Vengeance 2. The challenge is on you guys.
Wow.
There you go.
I'll try to get this out to them. I don't know how to get hold of Darcy, so I'll leave that one on you.
Send it to me.
Yeah. Because I I think it'd be cool to see her do it. She'd be the second one from Jason Lives, because Nancy McLaughlin's done it.
Yeah, when we spoke about it, I think that would be a good one for sure.
All right. Okay. Darcy DeMoss, that'd be great.
Yeah, she's cute as hell, so it'll be funny.
There you go.
Thanks, man.
You know what? This was a lot of fun. I thank you so much for coming on here and talking about this. And I got to add you on Facebook too. I haven't done that yet, so I'll send you a friend's request, and I'll have you back next year, and we'll
100%.
talk about your new movie with Terry as your father and Lar is the other 90% of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's going to be now. And send me this so I can edit it and send it out there for more awareness and tag you on it too.
Absolutely. I'll absolutely do that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Now it looks like you got gray hair.
Yeah, it looked like a Three Stooges or something.
There you go. There you go. Before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
Go like this? Yeah, go ahead.
Just to state your name, say you're the
Writer, director.
mastermind behind Rosebud, and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise. Okay. Hey, I'm Peter Anthony. I'm the writer and director of Friday the 13th Rosebud and producer of other films such as Vengeance. You're listening to and watching the Greg Gilbert on the Python. Oh, I messed it up. What is it again?
Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Okay. Hey, I'm Peter Anthony, writer, director of Friday the 13th Rosebud, and you are watching Greg Gilbert on the Python Paradise.
Absolutely. Folks, check out Roseblood. It's got, I love the sequence between Lar and Terry too. That great how you did that.
Thank you.
Yep. And we look forward to seeing Darcy DeMoss all bandaged up, looking like a mummy, somehow surviving.
In Vengeance too, yes. Definitely.
Vengeance too. You're gonna have Court there with the knife hanging over his head.
No, he's dead. He's for real dead. He's great though. I see him at the cons. He's a good dude.
I can't seem to get him focused on here either.
Yeah, keep trying. I don't know. I don't really have a way to him, but I see him at the cons.
I don't know. Some of these people, it's like taking a laser pointer and waving it around your pet.
Right.
You know, some of these people's like, oh, I gotta go this way. You know?
I bet you if you get Darcy though, you can get him.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, let's get Darcy to take a pie in the face for Doubtfire.
Yeah, let's do it. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you think she'll go for it?
I'll tag her on it for sure, and then just say, hey, if you're interested, let me know. 100%. That's why I named her. I wanted to do it for you. So
Awesome. 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 Well, you know what? It was wonderful having you on here. We had a wonderful interview. I'll have you back next year with more updates. And absolutely, you know,
awesome.
it was great. Yep.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
You take care, man. God bless.
See you.
Yep. Bye-bye.